Hey everybody, welcome to the Art of Divination's weekly podcast. Tonight we have a great lineup in store for you. We are going to be talking about symbols, and I am so happy to be doing this one. I learned a lot during this one, but so just can't wait to share that information. So I guess we're going to begin, as we always do, and I'm totally blanking on how we start. We talk about
advertisements with your peer-to-peer.
Yeah, but actually, I didn't do the peer-to-peer this morning.
Oh, okay.
I did Roots for Youth, but I'm going to do it now.
Okay.
The peer-to-peer mental health support group. It was started because of the lack of mental health facilities. And ironically enough, Sue came in with these petitions that you can fill out here at the store. So I'm just going to talk about that for a minute.
Okay.
In the NS House of Assembly, a petition is called a prayer. Please have supporters complete all information clearly and have them fill it out by hand. All signatures must be original and must be on the page with the request to these instructed at the top. So these petitions is to the House of Assembly and the Minister of Health to request a formal independent inquiry into the original hiring process for the position of Senior Director, Provincial of the Mental Health and Addictions and the Nova Scotia Health Authority, and all hiring process directors and senior directors. What it is, it's to get more money going towards mental health and addiction services.
Exactly. Yeah, and we need that.
We definitely do. We definitely do. So, if anybody is interested in helping support the community in filling out these petitions, I have them here at the store. Drop in, and we'll get your John Doe and all the information required, and then we will send them off for you. So if you want to be a small voice in helping raise a large roar in getting help to the mental health and addiction services, we've got the forms here. Please come in and help us raise our voices together.
Yeah.
So,
very good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My uncle, everybody who watches the Daily Readers and stuff knows that I had an uncle who passed away in December. Just after Christmas. Poor Jim was at my house, and we were busy doing something, and my mom called me, and I burst into tears. Burst into tears because I was just so shocked. So as we found out more about it, my uncle served in the military. He was in the militia as a teen, and he spent his life in the military. He was very dedicated to it. He was in Afghanistan. He was in Germany when the Berlin Wall was coming down. He had a very dedicated career in the military. And through everything, he developed PTSD. Post-traumatic stress disorder.
Okay.
Basically, he drank himself to death because he couldn't cope with the PTSD and he didn't get the help that he needed.
Yeah.
So on my personal Facebook page, there was a video clip of Justin Trudeau, and I voted for Justin Trudeau. I thought, he's young.
Yeah.
Right? He's a visionary.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's not afraid to take a chance. And up until this point, I was very happy with Justin Trudeau. And then I saw a video clip of him saying, they are asking for more than we can give. What are we asking them to give? Their mental, their physical, their spiritual well-being.
Yeah, exactly.
We're taking everything from them and now saying, we don't need you anymore. So just that makes me mad.
Yeah.
It really, really does. And then I read another one today saying that he spent $40 million on lawyers to fight the veterans. Just give them the $40 million.
Wow.
Then they wouldn't be asking.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you're going to spend that much money to prevent them, that just doesn't make sense to me.
No.
But anyways, that's my rant. I'm sorry for that. I was really close to my uncle. And he was very close in age to me. He was part of the younger of my mom's siblings.
Sure.
So, and I was so proud of him.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So that one really struck a chord when he was saying that. So sorry for my rant. So the likes and shares. Pardon?
Don't be sorry.
I'm sorry for putting my feelings onto everybody else. But I do 100%. Thank you.
Yeah.
I do 100% think that we need to put more money into mental health and addictions. Because a lot of people that aren't getting help are resorting to addictions. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
They go hand in hand.
Yeah. I think we need the staffing there to help people. And that's why I promote Jamie's peer-to-peer group so much.
Yeah.
But anyways, so the likes and shares are really coming along.
Oh, good.
11.
Good. Oh, wow.
We need 11 likes. 11 likes. So people get out sharing that. We could have this done in like a day.
Yeah.
So, and this Friday is our community night.
Community night.
We're gonna-
workshop.
You're going to be talking about the planets and letting us into their knowledge a little bit.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
Yeah.
And then the 27th is our workshop. We're going to be making the Tree of Life, which is another symbol.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
And we're going to be learning about that. Didn't choose that one tonight because we're going to be learning about that one next week.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's a good idea because, they're going to have a chance to actually make one.
So everybody, pick your numbers for the reading at the end of the show between 1 and 50. So is this my water or yours?
I want to say it's...
Oh, it's yours.
Yeah, it's water.
Sorry, Robyn. I'm trying to steal her water. She's never going to want to share co-host with me again because I'm sharing her water, stealing it. So yeah, it's just a bit dry. I've been having problems with my throat all week ever since this horrible cold.
Yeah, and I just have a feeling I'm coming down with something. I'm hoping I'm not, but
Oh, I hope you don't either.
watching very careful.
Wendy Lee Bubsy says Tree of Life is my favorite. To turn in next week.
It is a beautiful one. It's actually, Wendy, we're not going to do a podcast on the Tree of Life. We're having a workshop where people can make their own Tree of Life medallion.
Jackie then says hi, Carrie and Robyn and everyone.
Hey, Mom, how are you? So, I guess we're ready to get started now with my rant.
Oh, no, that's quite all right.
So, symbols have actually been around since the beginning of mankind.
Exactly.
It was basically the first written language. And prehistoric people, cave people basically, they carved and painted symbols on the walls in the caves. There's tons of them scattered all over Europe.
Yeah.
So that's how far back symbolism goes.
A long, long, long way.
And people don't realize that we have symbols every day, like in your garden, your stop signs are symbols,
Exactly.
merchandising logos.
Yeah.
That's all symbols. There's so many ways we use symbols to communicate. Like people who back in the day couldn't read or write, they would sign with the cross.
Yeah, exactly.
And that represented them.
Yeah.
There's just so many ways that we use symbols in day-to-day life every day. It's pretty amazing. So between you and I, we've got quite a few symbols to cover. We're just going to talk about some of the basic ones. But symbols are used in identification.
Yeah.
They are used in spirituality.
Yeah.
They're used by the church. They're used in jewelry.
Yeah.
They're used in communicating. Like my son's a flagger. He
Yeah.
works for McLeod Safety.
Yeah.
And he's got symbols on signs
Exactly.
to indicate what is happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's just so many ways.
And divination.
And
You have the
divination.
rune stones. You know.
Yeah.
You have all different things like
Well,
that.
in the teacup, it's basically
Teacup,
symbols
exactly.
that are made out of the tea leaves that tells the reader, and my cards all
Yeah.
have symbols on them.
Astrology has symbols.
Astrology,
Like, you know,
yep.
like there's basically everything.
Like the pentacle.
Yeah.
Right? That's a symbol.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wands, that's a
Mhm.
symbol. Swords.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's used in our everyday life all the time, so much so that we almost get commonplace to them.
Well, yeah. It's almost like you expect to see them everywhere.
Yeah.
And of course they are everywhere, no matter where you're shopping or what you're doing, if you're looking in a newspaper or whatever.
Exactly.
You're
And
going to
symbols
see
change. The meanings change.
Yeah.
Some
Over
meanings
the
get
years,
lost.
over the years, a lot of them change.
Yeah. So this says symbols have so much significance in our life because symbols are an ingrained part of our lives. Most people don't even realize how many symbols they see or experience on a daily basis. All of these symbols have ancient origins, but in today's modern society, I don't know what happened there. I lost part of the page. Most symbols of these symbols might have lost their true meaning. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. So the first symbol I'm going to talk about, many people have seen it. If you're a Harry Potter fan, you've definitely seen it. The snake eating its tail.
Oh, yes.
Or it can also be a dragon eating its tail.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to, is that coming in on the camera, Ken?
Yeah.
So that is called the Ouroboros. And it's an ancient symbol that can be found across continents and various ancient cultures. It's a symbol of a dragon or a snake or sometimes a worm that is coiled into a perfect circle in order to eat its own tail. While it sounds disturbing, this symbol holds great power and meaning to many people. From the Vikings to the Celts, ancient European cultures engraved this symbol inside of graves, stone monuments, caves, pottery shields, and staples. That's what I'm thinking. These symbols might have lost their true meaning, but then again, symbols can be perceived in different ways. That sounds like it belongs on the first page.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah. Sorry. And then it also, well, we talked about this, about company logos, television shows, religious text, engravings on gravestones. So why not dig? Yeah, that's where that goes.
Yeah.
Oops, my bad.
Mm.
But anyway, so that's the Ouroboros. So I was thinking you could talk about the next symbol.
Okay, the next one that I have here is the Ankh, whatever, key of life, key of the Nile, and it's an Egyptian symbol of life. It is actually like a cross with a little circle at the top. Can you see that?
Yeah, maybe just bring it in a little closer because it's kind of small. There you go.
Okay. Anyway, the horizontal and vertical bars, they represent the feminine and the masculine energy. And of course, the cross and the circle also suggest creative power. The top loop on the top there, it also symbolizes the sun on the horizon and also suggests like reincarnation, rebirth. And it's often found in Egyptian writings about rebirth. It was adopted by Christians, especially Gnostic sects, to symbolize the resurrection of Christ and heavenly marriage. It was an earlier form of the cross than the better known Latin cross. So it's also considered to have meaning in ritual magic. So
Cool.
it's just kind of an interesting little thing because normally the cross you just think of the regular run of the mill. So
It's beautiful too.
yeah,
I always really liked it.
Yeah. And you'll see sometimes people who are away or whatever, if they've traveled to Egypt or whatever, that's one of the things that they will come back with. So
I'll have to see if I put some in.
Yeah.
It is pretty cool. So my next symbol is the spiral.
Oh, there we go.
Justin took it down. He's like, what a pretty sound.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is my next symbol. It's the spiral. Ken, is it coming up clearly?
Yeah, maybe just bring it in a little closer because there's a bit of a glare on it. Yeah, it's good.
Alrighty. There's a lot to do about this one. It's an ancient symbol that can be seen in nature. The spiral symbolizes growth and expansion. It can also symbolize the never-ending cycle of the soul, winding its way along an eternal path. If we look in nature, we can find spirals on snail shells, nautilus shells, certain animal horns, and even galaxies of stars.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. The ancient Celts, the spiral was used in architecture, on jewelry, clothing, and more. The Celts tended to use the spiral in their elaborate knots, and also more famously within the Triskel. It's a three-sided spiral symbol that is thought to have represented immortal movement, meaning that everything is constantly in action. The idea differs from culture to culture, as the Triskel has been used not only by the Celts but also by other European peoples. It's even older than we can imagine, predating the Celts' arrival in Ireland in Neolithic times. Today, people that are part of the New Age movement say the spiral represents the human soul evolution along the universe. If you look at a nautilus shell, you'll see that it starts out as one small compartment and continues to grow, adding new compartments onto the first until it has created a perfect geometrical spiral. Nature creates some magnificent things.
Oh, it does.
I really messed up my pages.
Oh,
Because there's more about the Ouroboros.
yeah. Maybe just misplace the pages.
Yeah, I put it in the wrong order.
Oh.
But its first known use for the Ouroboros, sorry to go back to that, comes from Tutankhamun's tomb, in the enigmatic Book of the Netherworld. And the Egyptians believed that it represented eternity and the idea that the universe recreates itself after and within destruction.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's... I'm wondering if I got the wrong set of papers. All right, your turn. Sorry, Robyn.
Okay. All right. The next one I have is the praying hands. The clasped hands in prayer is, of course, familiar with Christianity. It's held before the heart. It's a symbol, too, of submission and sincerity. This posture became associated with praying around the 9th century. Also, it is, I guess, known in martial arts or whatever, when somebody goes into a room or leaves or whatever, they are doing like the praying hands. And it represents the coming together of opposites. Magically, the hands are the body's polar energy sources. So they can be used to channel and direct the energy, which, of course, we know with any of the healing that's, that certainly takes place. So, yeah. And, of course, I think everybody would know what that looks like, Ken. Oops. There?
Yep.
Okay. Sorry, dropped my glass case there.
I drop everything. It's all good. So I've actually got a couple of different eye symbols. We have the Hamza hand. This is a very small one.
Oh.
It's Serpentine Jade with the Hamza hand and the evil eye. It's a pendant for a necklace. Right? So there's that version. There is also the eye in the center of the hand. Clear? Mm-hmm. And people will notice my new window.
Exactly.
Y'all see an eye.
Yeah.
And these all come together like the Egyptian eye, the eye of Horus, the Hamza eye or the eye of Fatima, and the all-seeing eye.
Yeah.
They all kind of interconnect. Eyes are the window to the soul, right?
Yes,
Everybody knows
exactly.
that. We make contact.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you don't want to be intimate, like any relationship you have, the more you make eye contact, the more intimate and familiar the relationship is, right?
Exactly.
But a lot of people are so isolated that they're looking down, they're looking anywhere, find out the person they want to converse with or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So eyes are definitely the window of the soul, and that's why there's so much in symbolism about the eyes. And so they were powerful symbols in ancient times. So the Eye of Horus was seen in ancient times, and you guessed it, ancient Egypt. It also has been called the Eye of Ra or Wadjet. The symbol is a very protective one, often used to ward off evil or what is known as the evil eye.
Evil eye, for sure.
It was thought to be the right eye of Horus, a falcon-headed sky god who was thought to be a great protector and healer in ancient times. To put this symbol on a sarcophagus imbued the person within of a speedy and safe passage to the other side after death. The Eye of Fatima or Hamza. It's a symbol that has been used by various cultures throughout the Middle East for thousands of years. And it's a symbol seen as a hand most often with the eye in the middle of the palm.
Ernie Coyne says third eye chakra.
Third eye chakra.
Yep.
There's speculation. Sorry, what?
Somebody's paying attention.
Yep. There's some speculation that the Hamza has a direct connection to the Eye of Horus, and the purpose of the Hamza is again to ward off the evil eye. In Israel, they had the same symbol but called it the Hand of Miriam. Perhaps the idea was that the hand could block the view of any kind of evil that might set its sight on women and children otherwise. And you can find the Hamza hand almost anywhere. And the all-seeing eye, third eye,
Yes.
is known as the Eye of Providence, and the symbol is a more modern approach to the previous ancient symbols. It can be seen in the back of the United States dollar bill, a triangle engulfing an eye surrounded by beams of light. This was also thought to represent the all-seeing eye of God, a symbol of protection and seeing through to the truth. Unfortunately, the representation of this symbol has been distorted with the rise of conspiracy theories. And the conspiracy theorists say that evil forces the use of the all-seeing eye as their symbol, and so therefore is no longer a good sign. And to this, I would reply, symbols are subjective.
Oh, exactly.
There's one more I wanted to show about the all-seeing eye. Sorry, Robyn.
Yeah, no.
And it's also my new window. Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
Have you seen it yet?
Yes, I saw that. Yeah. I like that. Isn't that nice?
Ernie Coyne replied back with third eye chakra is the sixth chakra.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's one more representation of the third eye. I got lots of third eye. Is that coming through?
Yep.
So Crystal's in love.
Yeah.
Crystal's in love.
Well. Alrighty.
So
Am I next?
Yep, you're
Okay.
next.
Oh, I'll show you this one there, Ken. Can you see that? The Star of David?
Yep.
Okay. It's better known as a hexagram or a seal of Solomon, Star of David, depending on who's using it, I guess. It's kind of like two triangles overlapping, and it's one of the oldest and most universal spiritual symbols. Yep. It's associated with the biblical Solomon, best known as the Star of David in the Jewish religion. In ritual magic, it's called the Seal of Solomon and represents a divine union being composed of a male watery triangle and a male fiery triangle. According to very old legend, the seal was engraved upon a magic ring in which Solomon used to control the demons, which he enslaved to build his famous temple. When the points of a hexagram are connected, the hexagon is formed. And I guess in the Kabbalah or whatever, it kind of represents perfection. And in Hindu religion, it's called, what the heck we got there?
Shakana.
So yeah, it's equivalent to symbolism in ritual magic. So it is, it's another one, the symbol of the god Shiva, representing the element of fire. Together they represent the union of male, female, and the heart chakra. So,
Pretty powerful symbol.
Yeah, it is. It
My friend's
is.
got a question for us or
Oh.
comment.
Carrie Stewart says, I loved your eye palm pendant you showed Carrie.
Thank you. It's available at the store. I can't wait for this one. Sorry, my pants are falling down. I can't wait for this one.
Oh, there, she's in her glory.
The
now.
pentagram or the pentacle. This is a crystal grid. Ron, one of our local artists, has made these up for me to sell in the store. So,
Uh-huh.
I have been telling people this for a very long time about the pentacle, the pentagram.
Yeah.
It has a rather negative connotation to it in Western society. I know that for a fact. I've heard some people express their views on it. And my reply is this, that it is much older than the Thelemites and the Satanists.
Mhm.
The five-pointed star was used by the early Christians to represent the five wounds of Jesus.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
it also represented the five senses or five joys that Mary had of Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it got its negative representation in modern use in the occult and by the infamous late Anton LaVey, founder of the Satanic Church. The pentagram is used in Wicca as a symbol that represents the five elements: earth, air, water, fire, and spirit. It's usually seen as a five-pointed star with a circle around it. And the Satanic Church uses the pentagram as a symbol copied from a sigil of Baphomet, while Thelemites also use the symbol to represent quite a few things brought into religious limelight by Aleister Crowley.
Oh, wow.
You know, for anybody that knows Aleister Crowley,
Yeah.
from Supernatural, he's like the king of hell. But anyways, I just love that show. But it's not bad. It never started out bad.
And it's also associated with masonry, like this and
Yes.
Masons or whatever.
It is.
Masonic.
But the thing that bothers me is so many people give it such a bad rap.
Yeah.
Hollywood does. Hollywood definitely does.
Yeah.
And a lot of people trying to shake the bucket and get a reaction.
Exactly.
To me, that's what they are.
Yeah,
It only has the power or the meaning that you give it.
exactly.
It's not a bad thing, and it actually has origins in Christianity.
Yeah.
The
And actually,
Chinese-
you've got your pentagram there in the circle, so that is a pentacle. Yes, is what they're telling us.
Yeah.
So
The Chinese used it to represent their five elements involved in medicine and well-being, and they can be seen on other ancient cultures, religious objects, and temples dating back centuries. It can be used in all manner of representation involving spirituality, the earth, and protection. I've been telling people it's a symbol of protection. Christians used it as a symbol of protection.
I never thought I do have a pentagram ring, and I should have worn it tonight, but wasn't even thinking of that.
So,
Alrighty. So next, we will do the Labyrinth. Can you see that, Ken?
Yeah.
Okay. Which is almost like this kind of a continuous circle going in. It's a winding maze-like path, often resembling a spiral. They're found in many ancient cultures, and they almost always have a spiritual significance. Nearly identical labyrinth patterns are found in Neolithic art on Native American petroglyphs, and even in ancient Vedic sites. They were associated with the cult of the mother goddess and were possibly used in initiatory rituals. Labyrinths carried into the medieval times, and they were often laid on the floors of the cathedrals. So they were kind of like a miniature pilgrimage that people would travel the path on their knees, praying along as they went. And they're kind of seen, I guess, as kind of a revival, like to give them strength again. So they're common today in both churches and sanctuaries. And it's estimated that there are now more than 1,500 labyrinths in churches in the U.S. alone.
Oh, wow.
So, that's quite a few when you stop and think,
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But, yeah.
I'm done with my symbols.
You're done of your symbols.
Yeah, I don't have that happen.
Well, I don't. You might not be.
No, I'm at the end of my pages.
The next one we have is the Raven. Can you see that one?
Yeah, just bring it in a little bit.
In a little bit.
We have a better example here, Robyn.
Okay. Oh, well, there we go. Here's the Raven. Yeah? Okay. That's our little Raven. The Raven, the Crow, whatever you want to call them. They were emblems of war and death and sacred to the gods and goddesses. The Raven acted as a psychopath tasked with escorting the souls of the dead onto the other world. They were sometimes viewed as a reincarnation of some of the slain warriors. Due to their close relationship with the gods, the ravens were used for divinatory purposes and considered quite literally the voices of the gods. Images of three interlinked ravens are emblems of the triple goddess of sovereignty, particularly the Morrigan. And there are...
Our Ken has a fascination with the Morrigan.
Oh, is that right? Yeah.
She's a big She's his lady.
Yeah, there are actually even on, some of the family tartans or, that they have.
Actually,
I think some
there's
of them have
three
three crows.
In my for Watson, Clan Watson,
Yeah.
there's 3 birds in that, I'm pretty sure, but with a V.
Yeah. Wow.
My dad has our coat of arms. I'll have to take a picture of it to see, but I'm pretty sure there's 2. Mom, is there 3 birds in that?
Coat of arms.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there. Yeah.
Speaking of, Jackie Watson just commented, love this show. I gather so much information every show.
Thanks, Mom. But look at Dad's coat of arms. Tell me, is it the Buchanan or the Watson that's got the 3 birds in it?
There are different ones that have the coat of arms. Actually, I think the Murdoch also has the 3 crows or whatever. If I'm not mistaken. I'll have to ask my son because he's got.
If he was watching, you could ask him. So is Mom getting back to us yet?
Yes, maybe when you watch the show.
Okay. Well, hopefully she's still watching so we can solve the mystery tonight.
Yeah. But anyway, ravens often appear as evil omens on mythological tales, especially when appearing in trees or from the sea or whatever. And 2, even, I'm sure some of you have had stuff passed down from your grandmother for the crows. 1 crow sorrow, 2 crows joy, 3 crows a letter, 4 crows a boy, etc. 5 is silver, 6 is joy. Wait now. 5 is silver, 6 is gold, 7 is a secret never to be told.
Oh,
So,
I never heard that.
yeah,
Crows
it's just,
also figure in fairy tales. The
Oh,
kings
yeah.
and his it's kings and counting the money.
Yeah.
But there's crows in that one. I can't remember how it goes. Oh, 4 and 20 blackbirds
The
baked in a
blackbird,
pie.
yeah,
The
exactly,
blackbirds
yeah.
are crows and ravens
Yeah,
baked in a
exactly.
pie.
Yeah. Okay, the next one I'm sure you have.
We got all kinds of
and
symbols
it
here.
is the flower of life. Can you see that, Kim?
We're just trying to show everybody how symbols are used and how commonplace they are.
Exactly. And it's a symbol most commonly associated with New Age.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a sacred geometry. Anybody that is into any of the New Age stuff knows that, geometry is a very sacred thing.
Freemasons know that too.
What's that?
Freemasons know that
Oh,
too.
yeah. It's a curiously universal emblem appearing on religious contexts all over the globe. The oldest example can still be seen at the Temple of Osiris, and one of many geometric arrangements of circles are found there. It can also be seen in Indian, Asian, Middle Eastern, and later medieval art. So it is. It's a symbol of the ominence of the gods. It's a delicate net of overlapping circles, and it's quite neat.
I thought you Star of David.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I thought you're Star of David.
Oh, for heaven's sake! All right.
I'm just a bit delayed tonight. It's the green one, the green chakra, the heart chakra.
Bring it a little bit more.
Oh my God, I'm old, Ken. Sorry to interrupt you, Robyn.
That's okay. So anyway, the delicate net of overlapping circles arranged in a six-fold pattern is called flower of light. It contains a number of other shapes within its deceptively simple pattern, leading some people to call it the blueprint of creation. And actually, by connecting the points in the pattern, a number of patterns and shapes are traced, including the tree of life, the pentagram, the six-fold seed. So yeah, that's why it's just such an amazing, I find it's just an amazing little.
You can get lost in looking at it.
You could very well get lost in looking at it.
I also, remembered another symbol that we have in the store, about an example of the third eye.
How cozy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna move it.
See, symbols everywhere.
Yeah.
So, Jim, you were telling me something about the tree of life the other day. You don't have to go on camera. Do you remember what you were telling me?
The tree of life?
Yeah.
It's located in your skull.
I don't know. Is the voice, the mic picking Jim up because he's a little bit further away?
I'm not exactly sure how to
There's
check it.
plenty of informational YouTube videos that actually explains different chakras, stuff like that. There are different symbols and things like that. And they said the actual tree of life symbol is really in your body, and it is located somewhere in your skull. I think it's in the back of your skull somewhere. And Judy actually confirmed that too the other day.
Very cool.
I don't know anything about that.
So when we do the tree of life workshop,
I never would have.
we're going to find out a lot more
Yeah.
about it.
Carrie Stewart commented, I can hear him.
Oh, excellent. Thank you, Carrie. We appreciate hearing that. So you've got another symbol for
I've
us.
got another symbol now.
I want to point something out before. In all these symbols, there's so many materials like metal, fabric, wood.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And this is a very simple material that everybody
made-
takes for
yeah.
granted, but
Yeah.
yet it still has so much power behind it.
It is St. Bridget's Cross.
Bring it in there. That's good.
Yeah. St. Bridget's Cross, and this is basically one from Ireland. And it's St. Bridget's Cross. It symbolizes the beginning of spring, and their spring over there is on February the 1st. We should be so lucky.
Quick comment to follow up what Jim was saying. The Carrie Stewart here says, I think it's the nape of the neck for the tree of life, but I'm not sure.
Thank you, Carrie.
There.
I like this girl. She's got the same name as me. We're named twins.
Oh, well, there. Anyway, these crosses are hung by doors to protect the houses from fire and evil. Strangely enough, they're made from rushes, not the most fireproof material. But St. Bridget is one of the few female saints. She's also commonly known as Bridie. She was born in 453 AD and was important in spreading Christianity into Ireland. While her father was ill, she sat by him, and to pass the time, she gathered rushes and started making these crosses. So that's why we call them St. Bridget's Cross today. And she died on February the 1st, and that's how we remember it. And actually, there are some churches around that are called St. Bridget's. There's
Yeah.
one over in Divination. So,
Jackie wants to get back to the previous thing about the family crest and whatnot. She says it's 2 swords and 3 crows on the Watson shield.
oh, wow. Isn't that something?
Symbolism
Yeah.
and
Oh, yeah.
shields,
Yeah.
family crest. There's
Exactly.
symbolism.
Exactly.
Symbolism is everywhere around us.
Yeah.
Everywhere. We see them everywhere we go. Most of us don't even realize we're looking at them until we're confronted with the fact.
Yeah.
And the use of symbols today has more dramatically from the use in ancient times. Symbols carried with them power and force in ancient times, most of that of a spiritual nature. While in modern times, symbols are used for power, just another kind of power, financial power.
Yeah. Exactly.
Logos,
Yeah.
brands, images. And modern religions still use symbolism. The true power behind the symbols seems to have become lost. And the power behind any and all symbols is subjective. It's
Yeah.
what you perceive
What
it to
you
be.
perceive it to be. I have one more here.
Oh,
Carrie.
sorry, you're
no,
done.
that's okay. We've got one more here. Chokeray, can you see that?
Yep.
Okay. And this is one of the, well, actually, it is your first Reiki symbol. And it's a healing practice in Japan, of course. And the chokeray is known as the power symbol. And it's used to increase the energies when you're working on someone. And normally, the symbols in Reiki aren't openly displayed. But with the chokeray, you're going to see that on some keychains out there. You're going to see that on some, actually even on some cups or whatever, you're going to have the chokeray symbol.
That's
So it's
pretty
just
cool.
like, your line over and then 2.5 circles. And it's just put the power there.
It's also like a spiral.
Yes. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. But yeah, so it is, and like there's more symbols, of course,
Yeah,
with the
so
different
many.
types of healing and stuff like that. Yeah.
We just thought we'd touch on them tonight.
Yeah.
Did you have a question?
Oh, no.
All right. So I think we're getting close.
I think so. I do.
Tonight
believe.
went really fast, didn't it?
It
Sure
did.
did.
Yeah, it's 22. So, did everybody get their numbers? I hope you did, because we're going to do the daily reading soon. But in the meantime, we'll give people a couple more minutes to put their numbers through.
Yeah.
Ken's been keeping good track.
So on Friday we have
the community
the
night,
community night, and that's going to be held up here at the community center, right across from
7
community
p.m.
college. Yeah, 7 p.m.
And,
And it's just all about retrograde planets.
and how they
And
interact
how,
with
yeah,
us.
and how, like, I guess what their effect is on us.
Yeah,
When
So-
they're backing up, or they appear to be.
that's pretty cool, because I find now that we're doing the shows and we're talking about it more and getting all this information out there, I'm hearing it more like, damn, Mercury.
Yeah, oh, I'll tell you, like, I can't believe it. Like, I know for a fact that with me, I just can't wait for this Mercury retrograde to be over. Like,
This one
I'll
has
be
been
so happy.
brutal.
It has.
Yeah.
It has. Like today, my day started out great, and then I just got so overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And I just had to go outside for a little bit and just sit in the sun and ground.
Exactly.
It just got to be very overwhelming today.
Yeah.
But that's life, isn't it?
Oh, for sure.
So with the whole overwhelming, that's going to lead me into simple pleasures for a minute.
Oh, yes.
Simple pleasures, they're so beneficial. It's like medication.
Yeah.
It's self-medicating. And it gives you that peace, it gives you that pause, it gives you that serenity, but it also helps bring up your vibration.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And God knows we all need that.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I just really hope everybody else is taking that time to find their simple pleasures and just, I just see a lot of people very stressed and anxious right now. So I really, really want to say, like, find your simple pleasures, count your blessings, do the little thing that makes you happy. And there's so many ways that you can, you know what I mean? I just run out of things to say about simple pleasures because I talk about it every day.
Yeah. Actually, I was reading in the paper about a gentleman in Dartmouth, especially with that hockey team out west and the tragedy. He had been at a restaurant or whatever, and the team was there. They were all having their meal. And the coach asked for the bill, and the woman said, "Oh, actually, it's paid for." "What do you mean it's paid for?" "No," she said, a guy had, he asked, that's a hockey team over there? Yeah. I want to pay for their meal. And she said, well, I'll tell you, it's going to be expensive. It's all right. It's all right.
Wow.
So I thought,
What a
you
gesture.
imagine what a gesture. So I mean, things like that, you just, I'm sure it made him feel good. And he remained anonymous. So, I mean, he wasn't looking for any glory. He just wanted, hey, you know what? I've done something for somebody, and not just somebody, but the whole team.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure any of the sports people are feeling, there but for the grace of God goes anyone.
Exactly.
Because you don't know.
Exactly.
So,
And,
I thought that was really amazing.
In that, where my husband's a long haul trucker, I just would like if everybody could just maybe send out it's tragic what happened to the team, and my heart is totally with them.
Yeah.
But with that poor person suffering, the one in the truck,
Oh, yeah.
I can only imagine, and they kind of get forgotten about. From being a truck driver's wife, I know that the truck drivers kind of get the bad end of the stick.
Well,
They do. They have to deal with all kinds of crazy people that just don't realize how careful you have to be around the trucks, and that their visibility is actually reduced.
Yeah.
But they see the people like weaving in and out and getting too close, knowing that there's not much they can do. And I know any one of those truckers that I know, if they were involved in an accident like that, even if it was one person, they would be done.
Yeah, they'd be devastated.
Like they would quit.
Yeah.
Because they wouldn't know how to cope. So we can all just send prayers and love and light to everybody involved in the situation. The families, the communities.
The families of everybody.
And even that poor, I don't know if it was a man or a woman, but the person that was driving the truck, truck drivers aren't trying to kill people on purpose.
No, you know what,
But they do have
have a real difficult job.
They do, and they just kind of get a bad rap from society.
Yeah. No.
So, if we could just send prayers and love and light to everybody involved in that tragedy.
Yeah.
That's all I'm asking,
Yeah.
that we just don't forget anybody or overlook anybody.
No.
So, on that very serious note, let's see who won.
That's the number.
So, we had Crystal choose the number tonight, and we're going to name her so everybody can blame her. You want to tell everybody the number you chose?
5.
So, whoever's closest without going over.
No one's close without going over tonight. The closest is Wendy Lee Bugsy with 10.
We've never had this situation
No,
before.
well, then, I don't know. I guess she's the closest, I would say. Yeah.
So, Wendy, let's see what the cards have to say for you.
You're right. Nobody usually picks the lower
They do.
numbers.
I always pick 5, and nobody. You guys never pick it.
So we have the Ace of Wands. We have the King of Cups. We have the Two of Pentacles. And we have the Nine of Swords. So, beginnings are always in aces, and this is the beginning with a goal. So it's something that is in infancy right now, maybe even thought, but it's something that you're going to be starting soon, and it indicates that it's going to be very good and very successful, and you are going to achieve your outcome. The King of Cups. I'm going to let everybody in a little secret. I hope Wendy doesn't mind. Wendy's about to be married soon. And this is just her hubby, her soon-to-be hubby, and he is a very good partner to her, and he is emotionally what she needs, which is what the King of Cups represents.
The King of Cups, exactly.
But the Two of Pentacles, Wendy, is saying juggle funds. Be careful with your money. Don't overspend. Don't make rash decisions regarding money. Just juggle your funds and just take your time in making spending decisions. So the Nine of Swords is indicating sleepless nights and worry. So whatever you're stressing about, whatever is upsetting you, whatever is bringing you down, find a way to cope and deal with it. Meditation is great for that. You could maybe take a walk, maybe plants, indoors or outdoors, whatever it is that you need to do to decompress. Or maybe it's trying EFT with Sue, because I know it was amazing for me. Me for sleeplessness. Whatever it is, maybe yoga, maybe just go out and walk around a lake or walk through the woods, whatever it is, you need to spend some time doing something that brings you peace and happiness, and just chill and stop obsessing and worrying so hard over whatever it is that you're focused on. So find your peace, girl. And that is what the cards have to say for Wendy.
Good.
So I think we've covered everything, and everybody knows about the community night, and they know
The workshop
the
is
workshop,
on
27th.
okay, I was going to say 29. Good job, I didn't say.
Yeah, I thought it was the 29th
Mercury
too.
retrograde, I'll blame it on that.
But thank you everybody for joining us tonight, and I hope you found this as fascinating as me. And whenever you hear people misrepresenting symbols, now you can correct them on the true interpretation, the original.
Wendy Lee comments with thanks, Gary.
You're welcome. So I guess that is everything. I guess
That
we'll
wraps
just,
it up for another week.
yeah, wish everybody love and light. Tune
Yep.
in next week. We'll have a show for you. I'm just waiting to hear back from some people. But tune in next week, and as soon as we get the details firmed up, I will let everybody know. And just love and light and find your peace, everybody. And the 15th is the last day of retrograde.
Yes, the 15th is the last day of
Woo!
retrograde.
And things will start going back to normal.
Yes. Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, thank you, Robyn.
Oh, you're very welcome.
And we will see you all tomorrow.
Okay. Good night, guys.